Hey everyone, welcome back to the Creative Connect. This is a live learning session designed specifically for creators and innovators. Be sure to go to my website, CamilleEsser.com, and use this coupon code, which will be valid throughout tonight's live. Now, let's get started. Hey everyone, Hey everybody, tap in. This is Camille Essex. Happy Friday. I hope that you're having a really good day. Be sure to tag and share. I'm not going to waste a lot of time here waiting for people to come on, only because I have a lot to get into in a little bit of time. And also, the replay will be available. So, do let me know where you're from if you are coming into the live and hit that notification bell and subscribe. I'm really excited about tonight's session. This session is specifically for creators and innovators. Now, if you're in various industries, this is for you as well. But I have some digital products available that I'll introduce later on this evening. But first and foremost, what I need you all to do is just to hit that notification bell and subscribe, tag a friend or someone that you love, that you feel like may get something or learn from this conversation on tonight. Now, I am excited to announce that during tonight's live, you will be able to save 30% at the checkout. There is a coupon code available. I'm going to put it up on the screen below. The coupon code is May 30. Now, you do have to subscribe first in order to use the coupon code to save at the checkout. Um, and that is not just for whatever I'm talking about tonight. That will be all night. Like, well, not all night, but until midnight tonight, that will be available to you all. So if you're tapping in, I would love to hear from you and just let me know where you're coming from. And there is the code there. Subscribing, use May 30. The sale goes on until 12 midnight. It is store wide, and this will be a great discount that will be used. Hey, Janessa, and thank you for joining me. Be sure to tag, like, and share with someone, and hit that notification bell. So again, use the coupon code which is listed here. It is May 30. Be sure to subscribe, and that is across my entire store. That includes my stock elements. That includes all of my digital products, my ebooks, my e-course, my master course called the Master Plan. We'll get into that later. But one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this conversation on tonight and here at CamilleEssex.com is just because I don't know about you, but jumping into the space has been very different for me, considering that digital creation was not my initial background. Those that know me know that I was a lash girl. I have the lash brand, my lash brand, Kamiki Mink. I was doing makeup and lashes for a couple of years with the Glam Room, the real Glam Room, spearheaded by Queen Sharon Campbell, there at the Stellar Awards. Had a great time, met some amazing people, and then not a plan of my own, but God just had me to shift into this digital space. And let me say, it was very scary. I didn't know what I was doing, y'all, but it was just like, okay, if this is something that, he's leading me to do, then let's jump all the way in. Hey, I'm looking at my notes as well. But just thank you all for tuning in. But just jumping right into an industry that I was a novice to, did not understand the space. All I just knew that I'm being led, directed to do this. And over time, just growing by leaps and bounds. And so with the Speaker podcast, so backstory, when I first started, I did not have a guest, and then I think Whitney Victoria was my first actual guest. And I think about after the second season or so, I submitted my podcast to iHeartRadio, got turned down, but I did not take it to heart because I knew I was new to podcasting. And I thought to myself, like, hey, let me get my game up. Let me put out some more episodes. Let's rework some things and resubmit. So I waited a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, if that long. I got some more episodes under my belt. And then iHeartRadio, with the podcast, they told me yes. And I was very excited. And that yes was the boost I needed. Did not know I was going to end up writing, books. And now, I have my master's degree in communication, but just when you say yes, you don't realize the doors that it opens for you down the road with people, opportunities, connections. It's just been an amazing process. So, what I do want you to know is number one, you don't have everything figured out. You won't always have everything figured out. When I started, I didn't have a clue. But what I started doing was making notes and trying to think like, okay, I'm doing this podcast. What are we talking about? What's the premise? Who is my target audience? And going from there. And that's one of the things why having a mentor is very important. One of my mentors, shouting him out is Deshaun Gales, um, a phenomenal person, very patient with me. And over the last year or so, he's really worked with me just to get my design game up. Um, Sowing seeds into him, with the process with mentorship. Yes, glean from your mentor, but when you can, if you can, sow a seed back. You just don't want to be a taker and just take and never give back. But I do appreciate this, Sean, just over the last couple years, especially over this last year, really taking the time to sit down with me. And one of the reasons why, and the thing is, he came to me. I had been wanting a mentor, but really did not know where to start, where to begin, who to even ask. But just in a light conversation, it just seemed like it just fit, it just clicked, it just worked, the chemistry was there, and he became my mentor. And so when you're going from a place of, figuring things out to walking into hearing this word this week, clarity, and moving into confidence. Mentorship is one of those keys as far as unlocking your next level. And the reason why you need to do that is just like I said before, you don't know everything. And if you're taking notes, grab out your pen and paper. I'm going to drop some points throughout this conversation. So the first reason why is because you don't know everything. You won't know everything. I've been podcasting since I want to say 2018, but going live with a live stream since 2020 through the pandemic. Since then, I've done 139 streaming episodes, and I'm still learning. It's a continuous learning process, and especially now with AI being introduced into our space even more, and it's not going away. You do need someone there to kind of guide you through the process and just to learn. And be sure that you're hitting that notification bell, that you're liking and tagging someone. So I don't know everything. And with that, I felt like with the self-learning phase, I hit I want to say a glass ceiling, but I kind of hit a wall, sort of say, with my creativity. And that's where the mentorship comes in because a mentor can actually open up your mind to thoughts, questions, and things, and even information and resources that you didn't know was available to you. You're going to make point number two, you're going to make mistakes. I'm learning and still making mistakes, but that's part of the learning process is that with continuous learning, you're going to blunder. There are some areas like I have my strong points, but I'm in a space now that I'm beginning to recognize my weak points and my weaker areas. And that's where that mentorship comes in to strengthen those weakened areas and even open up your peripheral vision as a creative to see in other ways that you may not have thought so before. And then also point number three, looking at my notes here is you don't want to focus not only on the desire to begin, but you need to actually begin. You can't sit around just saying, oh, I wish, oh man, I really want to do XYZ. For me, there were some things I delayed because part of my mind is very analytical, and I felt like, well, until the situation is ideal or exactly the way I want, I'm going to do it. But I was waiting for the ideal situation. Over time, I realized life is going to life. Things are going to continue to happen. Life does not stop, and so you just have to jump in. It's like double dutch. You have to find your rhythm and jump in the wave, jump in the river, and get going. Um, Also with the discount code, I am keeping it up until midnight just because of those that follow me and then follow through with me, the West Coasters, and because of that time hour difference. To be fair, the discount will continue throughout tonight until midnight tonight. And you can do so by subscribing at CamilleEslick.com. And once you subscribe, you can use that coupon code May 30 to receive the discount at your checkout when you check out in your cart at the end of your purchase. And that's across the entire store. So we're going to hop right in. And there are some things that we're going to discuss tonight as far as one, why you need to create your own platform, why we need our own platform here on social media. And reason being is because number one, representation matters. We're living like in a very volatile time. I don't know about you, but there's so much going on. It just seems like every day I turn on the news, TikTok, something, excuse me, there's always something happening as far as shifting the narrative. Um, I hate to say the word fake news because it's so overused, but there's a lot of misinformation, especially about our culture and us in the creative space. It's very important that we have our own narrative, that we tell our own stories, and we do so with the dignity and depth that only we can provide those on the outside. And no one can reflect our culture like we can. So it's very important, number one, that we show up in these spaces. Number two, you're going to have creative freedom. If you're taking notes, this is point number two as far as why we need our own space and digital media and platforms. And number two is just because ownership, it gives us power. And then it also gives us the ability to produce content that honors our voices without censorship and compromise, meaning um, no one can tell your story like you. We've all within the diaspora, we have had and we continue to have different experiences. We're not a monolith. There's so many subcultures within our culture, whether if you're creative, whether if you're MUA, which is a makeup artist, if you're a professional doctor, lawyer, if you're in government, politics, if you're in law enforcement, across the board. There are so many subcultures within our community. And that's why it's so important for us to tell our stories, our narrative, in our way. And one of the things you can do that is through the creative force and through social media with a digital space and with your own digital platform. Also, you're creating legacy and impact. So, creating your own space means you're building wealth, opportunities, influence for other generations, meaning the space that you create here, you're going to have people in different demographics and age brackets within your community or even outside of your community. One of my goals is at some point for this to grow where I can hire an intern and have an EA, and that person, young person that could come in, or it could be older, they give them the opportunity and experience. Maybe they've been wanting to dive into social media. Maybe they've been wanting to tap into the digital space. And then also it leaves a blueprint because how can I say this? What we're going through right now, this is a level of history like we've never seen before. And not just because of what's happening politically, but just as a people. And so who's telling these stories in real time? We are, I am, are you? And so we need people there like myself and like you to hop in this wave and tell the stories and have these conversations in real time. Because why? It's going to leave a blueprint for instruction and also to see, where we have come from, what we're doing, how we're navigating. Because, you hear all the time that history repeats itself. And the only time and the only way we can break the cycle is we have to record these moments, learn from these moments, and then take it forward. So if you have not done so, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Use that discount code May 30, which is available on my website. Once you subscribe, you'll be able to save 30% throughout the entire store, and that will be going on tonight. One of the things I want to share as far as diving into podcasting, as far as why it's important, why you need to launch or rebrand your podcast. I'm tongue tied. Why you need to launch or rebrand your podcast is it's going to help you to learn and develop how to design your podcast with intention. There's so many podcasts out there. You can literally talk about anything, and it doesn't have to be about sports or politics. You can actually podcast about your industry, whether if you are a tailor, if you're an architect, if you're an attorney, if you're a doctor, if you're a consultant, whatever you do, you can podcast for it. Because why? There's an audience and a community that's waiting to hear from you and to hear your voice. So one of the things you also can do with the podcasting is you can gain clarity around your podcast brand, your influence within that community, your audience, and the format. And y'all, you can also discover how to launch on a budget with real tools and templates, which is why I created the master plan. So if you have not heard, I did release the master plan, I think last summer, and it is an 87-page e-course. It has 7 modules. I have podcast templates in there, 2 ebooks, which is called How to Start a Podcast for Less than $100 and On the Air. And the reason why I coupled these two ebooks together is because one, how to start a podcast is just the foundation of what to do. And then to get the podcast started. And then On the Air goes deeper into podcasting as far as how to take the guesswork as far as guest interviews, doing the interviews. It's not easy. Scheduling happens. You're dealing with different personalities. There's a lot that happens behind the scene to get an episode out. And for others that have done episodes, then you can attest and understand what I'm saying. Also in there, I include checklists and note pages, and you can grab that now. That is 30% off with the coupon code. One of the things within I'm learning the digital space with my graphic work and design, which is another facet of the podcasting, is I love animation. I love visual art. I love things that grab the attention. Hey, Megan, thank you for joining in, and be sure to tag with someone. Um, One of the things you do want to consider when you're laying out your social media presence, whether you're a podcaster, a business owner, if you're doing government contracting, if you're a public speaker, if you do hair, if you're a stylist, if you're whatever that you're doing, one of the things you do want to consider is, does my visual grab the attention? Just because we're seeing a lot of what I call the cookie cutter posts out there for social media announcements. Me personally, I hate looking like everyone else. I like to have something that has a different look and feel. I love movement. Um, Thank you for tagging. I love design. And so you want to think about, how can I make what I'm doing stand out from everyone in my industry? For example, let's say you do brows and lashes. If you go on social media, you kind of see the same template when it comes to flyers, the reels, how it's set up. And that can be a great foundation for you. And for those that are tuning in, thank you for joining me. You want to think about, how can I move into this niche? How can I move into this community? But how I show up, how I sound, how I look, how can I stand out and look different and appear different? And one thing I can say about the Speaker podcast, there are thousands of podcasts out there, but when you're scrolling, my look, how I show up, it's not like anybody else. I have my own, it's what I call my digital thumbprint. The way I design is the way I design. My color palette, what I've used is very feminine because I'm very feminine. So I started a lot of my personality into my design, but I still, when you see that pink, you know it's me, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, you're Greek. Why didn't you use your sorority colors? So honestly, this month of May is um first of all, it's my grandmother's, birthday month. She was born and passed away in the month of May. She died from breast cancer, and, I loved her to life. I still miss her to this day. And so when I was looking for podcast colors, I wanted to find a way where I could still honor my grandmother. And it's like my little wink to her, because of who she was as a lady, very classy, very poised, very down to earth, but she was a very classy woman. But she did succumb to breast cancer. So I selected the color pink because that's a nod to my grandmother. So little things and nuances like that. Think about how you can slip things in if you choose to insert into your visual presentation online. That was my personal preference and choice. And since the beginning, when I had Kamiki Mink doing the lashes and makeup with the Glam Group, going into the Still Awards, the color pink has always been inserted into everything that I've done, because why? That is my signature. And unless something very extreme happens, I don't see myself straying from that, from using that color, just because that's just a part of who I am, right? And so you also want to look at industry colors. There's what they call the psychology of color. You can Google it. And so there are certain colors that are assigned to certain industries. So if you look at the food industry, a lot of restaurants, they use the colors red, orange, yellow. You may see a pop of green here or there if it's more of a vegan restaurant, but usually within that color spectrum, those are the colors that you use. When you're looking at worlds of finance, technology, and information and government, a lot of times you see the color blue, shades of blue or green. When you're going into the healthcare field, and it's a sliding scale. There are exceptions to every rule. Of course, we always have outliers, but usually within the realm of healthcare and mental health, you'll see shades of blue or like soft, what I call like a seafoam green. And so when you look at a lot of therapists, now there are some that may use more of the earth tones depending on the tone of your brand, but usually in that scope, when you're looking at mental health and healthcare, you'll see those shades of your blues and your greens. Mainly so in the healthcare, blue more than anything, and then when you get over into the mental health side, you may see pops of a softer shade of blue or even a soft seafoam green. And then when you get into places like real estate, construction, a lot of times you'll see your standard black and white. You may see pops of gold or yellows, but a lot of times those are black and white. So that's something else to consider when you are thinking about branding your brand or your business. Think about the psychology of color. Think about what industry that you're in. Think about the colors associated with that industry. Now, for me, I do have other colors inserted. So if you look, I also use the blues, which hints to the communication or tech side, which falls within the psychology of color. However, my signature color is pink. So if you're getting something from this, or if it's helping you, if you're catching replay, let me know in the comments below. You can hit that notification bell, like and tag with someone. Be sure to subscribe and use the coupon code May30. It will be store wide until midnight tonight. I hope you are getting something from this conversation as we talk about creativity in the mental health space, Lord, in the digital space. One of the things that we also need to consider as far as the integration of I know some of us within our community shying away from it, but I'm here to tell you it's here, it's not going away, and it's only going to grow and expand and go higher. So if there are things that you're not sure of, if you look within my website, I do have the Canva playbook. Canva is constantly making updates. The Canva playbook is something that is there for creators. If you're new to Canva, unsure about it, and just what are the nuances of that platform, my Canva playbook is there. It's available to you. You can grab that. You don't have to tag me in anything on that. Just go to CamilleAsley.com and you can grab the Canva playbook. It's a very user friendly. It's very beginner friendly. I know some people may feel like, well, I don't understand all the buttons and the intricacies of what Canva can do. And the reason why I released the Canva playbook is just to give those that are entering the space with Canva. It is very beginner friendly. It's very entry level, but it's very detailed. It's very detail oriented, several pages. It is a downloadable PDF, so you can look at it, go through it as you are going throughout your journey learning Canva. It is at your pace. No one is rushing you. If you feel like you get to a section and you don't understand, reach out to me. I'll ask, but everything, I'll answer your question, but everything is right there. It is step by step, and you go at your own pace, and it's very user friendly. Um, we're right about at 23 minutes. I do not want to hold you all very long just because this is more so of an introductory conversation as we go deeper into Creative Connects. I'm going to do more. This is more so just an intro as far as to why I'm here and just to kind of give you a little backstory as far as my background, how I got into the digital space and where I am now. I'm very excited about, what I'm doing in the podcasting world. Shout out to the Speaker Podcast. We are now streaming in 991 cities and 51 countries, which for me, amazing because I remember when I started, it seemed like I couldn't get a stream to save my life. However, with A lot of perseverance, a lot of diligence. It has grown by leaps and bounds. And during this process, I've met some amazing people, and I plan to continue to grow. I plan to continue to bring you conversations impacting the community and the culture. I cannot wait to see what happens next, and I'm very, very excited. Um, I had some other things lined up for you all for tonight, but I think for the sake of time, I'm going to hold off on those things just because I just don't I'm not okay, I'm gonna be honest, this is very awkward only because I'm so more so accustomed to doing the podcasting, so doing one-on-one conversations such as this, it's a little awkward, I'm not gonna lie, but this is one of the reasons why I'm here to show you that not just me and not just you, but we all together, we need to hop out of our comfort zone and jump in, and so I'm very excited to hear, to do this conversation with you all tonight, and I hope you got something from this. If it sounds like I'm rambling, I'm sorry. I need to do more lives. I don't see how people can do this for 2 hours. God bless you, and it's a lot. But, I did try to follow my notes and give you guys just a little bit of the introductory information here, and I hope that you got something from this conversation. One thing I will say, before we wrap up, long form content is so important. I know a lot of people are those out there, those of you that want to go viral off of, 1 or 2 videos from TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, whatever your, platform is, but you do want to play the long game and create that long form content, meaning it is so, so important. Um thank you, Megan. Long form content is very, very important. And the reason why you want to have that long form content is because when you do have a piece of content that goes viral, those that follow you, those that subscribe to you, they're gonna want to know more about you. They're gonna want to know, they're gonna desire to consume everything you've done, meaning every YouTube video, all your social media on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and we're in a age of information. People are looking that are serious, they're looking for information. For me as a podcaster, there are people out there looking for wholesome conversation just because there's so many toxic conversations out there, narratives, right? And so they're looking for wholesome conversation, they're looking for good information, they're looking for solid conversation. And so that's my role within the podcasting space. And with the speaker podcast, we discuss relationships, we discuss entrepreneurship, we discuss faith. And what I've learned throughout the journey, even with me becoming an advocate for mental health, I've learned that I'm a bridge between the church community and the secular community. Because for so long, even though we're beginning to have those conversations, we were not always having those conversations. And so over the last couple of years, I've learned that I'm a bridge between those communities. I'm a bridge between the church community, and I'm a bridging to the secular community in the marketplace. And so what I do is, and what my role is, bring the community together so we can have healthy and safe conversations about relationships, about mental health, about our faith, about entrepreneurship, about our finances, and so forth. And the mantra of the Speaker podcast is not only the podcast where innovators and creators connect, but also here in this space, we discuss topics and issues impacting the community and the culture. And so, because I know that about myself, and I know that's my role, I'm able to function accordingly. Now, I do have other outlets such as TikTok and Bougie Black Girl Files, which I just started on Instagram. Y'all go follow that, the official BBGF, which is like my soft side, my lifestyle side, my soft life side. And that's just kind of where I'm able to just outlet all my other creative energy, just to separate it away out of the podcasting space, on my main social media pages. But what I was saying, as far as with you, if you are looking to expand in the digital space, first of all, ask yourself and write this down. Do I know my role? Do I know my role? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Like I just mentioned, I know I'm a bridge between the faith community and the circular world. in the marketplace. I know that and I understand that about myself, but you need to ask yourself the question, do you know your role? Are you a bridge? Are you a person that is intended to network? Are you a solutionist? We're all solutionists. Don't get me wrong, we're all solutionists. But what problem or issue have you been assigned to address and or solve? Because people have so many questions, but are you the answer to their question? And that's something you need to ask yourself. Ask yourself, what problem or issue are you sent to solve? In podcasting, I learned one, I'm a bridge, but I've also learned that as Pastor Mark mentioned this morning, I'm a hyphenated talented person, meaning I'm versed in a lot of different things. I'm versed in podcasting, I'm versed in writing. I'm an excellent writer. I'm becoming more versed and more excellent in my design, but I'm also versed in brand development, launching and rebranding. And that's also a niche of mine and I'm good at it. And it's not to be arrogant or cocky, but I just know that I'm good at that. I'm good at what we call incubator, brainstorming with those that have maybe a brand or business idea that are wanting to launch or reface or what we call recasting. I'm excellent at that. And I know what I'm talking about. Yes, Megan, I am both and I'm her. I am her. And so because I know that about me, these are the questions that you need to ask yourself as well. What are your functions? What are your functionalities? What are your giftings? And then out of the podcasting, my other space is the creativity, and I'm working to become the creative's creative. That's why if you go to my website, CamilleEsther.com, I have the stock elements or what we call clip art because representation matters. So if you have websites, if you have brandable products, printable products, physical products, digital products, and I am going to release more of those throughout the course. This is June pretty much. So um time is flying, but more of those they are coming around, coming along. I have lots of templates available. I am working to get around to various industries, and in these templates, I have marketing votes, I have digital planners, I have calendars. I also have other digital resources. If you are the creative, if you're a designer, if you're a business owner, if you're a contractor, whatever it is, these can be edited to fit whatever you need. Even email templates, they are there. I have a master vault for email template marketing. So if you're sending out emails to your entire list, I literally have just pages of PDFs of email templates that you can use. You go in and type in your name, change a couple words, and send it off to your email list and your subscribers. Because why? Time is money. And girl or sir, we don't have that type of time. So I've created that for you. That's available on my website as well. I don't believe in price gouging just because everything is high. So everything here, I made it the price point is very accessible to anybody. Just because I could have charged more, I should charge more, but I don't want to because these are products and tools that I want you to have. These are items and tools that you can use over and over again. I also have other templates I'll be releasing soon within this month. I've been working behind the scenes, getting some things together as we slide deeper. And we're coming out of late spring, summer starts in a couple weeks. And so those items are available on my site. More items to come as well. Just organizing some things and getting them together for you all because why? I believe in excellence and presenting to them, presenting them to you. Wow, presenting them to you in a great way that is user friendly and that you can use, easy to access, and just ready at your fingertips. And so I hope that you all are getting something from this. I really appreciate you all. Go right now to CamilleEsther.com, grab those templates, get the e-courses, grab the ebooks, get the stock elements, everything there. Until midnight tonight will be 30% off. All you have to do, there it is. You're going to use that coupon code May30 and that sale ends until midnight. Subscribe first. That way you can save at the checkout. Lord, let's fix that. There you go. Little inverse. Subscribe there. Make sure you subscribe first. Use the coupon code May 30. It ends at midnight. May 30 is the code. Thank you so much. And a shout out to Megan. She's always supporting. I really appreciate her for doing that. Um, and those that have worked with me know that I believe in quality work. I believe in working with excellence. I believe in working with a timely matter. Within the timely matter, I have a great turnaround. And those that have worked with me know my turnaround is amazing. But yes, as we go, I think we have one more point before I wrap everything up. It's about 8:30, 8:35, so we're almost done here. One more thing is don't worry about what you don't have. Don't worry about who's not going to support you. Because why? There's so many people waiting to hear from you. There are so many people waiting to hear your voice. Yes, there are other people doing what you're doing. There's a cookout, there's a McDonald's, there's Five Guys, so many other places that make burgers, but the way McDonald's makes their burger is not the same way that Five Guys makes their burger. It's not the same way as Nasty Crystals or White Castle makes their burgers. They do it the way they do it. And how many times have you gone down the street and you've seen McDonald's, you've seen Five Guys, and you've seen, I don't know, another burger restaurant all right there, or you're driving down the street and you see Pizza Hut next door to Papa John's. Do you think Pizza Hut and Papa John's care? Or even, matter of fact, not far from where I live, right in the same plaza, there is Papa John's, and then you look and there's Domino's. Now, how crazy is that? And so if they can do it, why can't you? So jump in. Don't worry about, oh, well, I don't have this. Let me tell you something. When I started podcasting, I didn't know what I was doing. Did not have the money, to produce a podcast like some of these larger platforms. All I had was my MacBook, and y'all remember the plug-in um, uh, headphones before we were bougie and got very grown and got the AirPods. I had a plug-in headphone and my MacBook, and I went online. I went on YouTube University and I Googled to find something free because I didn't have the money for all the other things. Later on, I got a Blue Yeti microphone, started podcasting through that with that, and the rest is history. But it required me to just jump in the wave and start. And as I started to go, God provided. He started providing me with more information, more resources. One, because I prayed over myself and I was like, okay, God, if this is what you really want me to do, I need you to open up my understanding and help me. I do lashes. I don't know anything about the digital space, but he has continued to open up my intelligence. And y'all see the results. You see what's happening here. And it's only up from here. Okay. It's only up from here. So I'm very humbled, but I'm also very thankful. But you cannot worry about who's not going to support you because there's so many people that want to support you, that are willing to support you, but you have to show up. You have to be present. Don't worry about what you don't have. Don't worry about the people. There was a time where I was chasing the algorithm, where I was constantly chasing my dashboard, checking it every day to the point I was stressing myself out. It's like, why am I doing this? Why am I putting this much pressure on myself? No one's putting this pressure on myself but Camille Celeste. So it was like, you know what? Let me fall back off of this. No, don't get me wrong. You do need to know your stats. But I began to obsess over my stats. I began to obsess over the algorithm. I began to obsess over the dashboard to the point where I wasn't enjoying what I was doing anymore. Podcasting felt very arduous. I did not like it. I went through a space where I was like, I'm going on sabbatical. I'm not doing anything this month. I'm taking a break. And matter of fact, it happened during the pandemic. A lot was happening anyway. And so I took the entire month of December and I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to take a break and I'll come back when I'm ready. In that, I realized people were missing me. People needed to hear my voice. My showing up mattered. My showing up was important. And I say that because the matters The numbers matter, but they don't. So I had an episode with Alicia Jones, and we were having a discussion about creating an emergency mental health plan and how just like you have egress for a tornado or a fire or active shooter, if someone that you know and you love is dealing with mental health, you need to have an emergency mental health plan. And so during the course of the conversation with her, episode was great, but I could not enjoy the episode because I was so focused and so worried about the live only only 2 people showed up. I had 2 people to watch that episode. And so I beat myself up mentally because I was like, why am I doing this? Only had 2 people tune in. Woe is me. Cry me a river. Like I was in my feels, okay? And so I think that episode might have been on a Tuesday. Yes, it was on a Tuesday because I used to air on Tuesday nights. It was on Tuesday, and I want to say either the next day or the day after, like within 48 hours, Nicole reached out to me and she was like, "Oh my gosh, Cam, like I'm so glad we did that episode. It was so good. Someone um had a mental health emergency and they had made the decision that they were going to take matters into their own hands, that they could not deal with the pressure of life anymore. And they had planned it out, had written the notes. They were just going to arrivederci, right? She said because that person tuned in and saw our episode, our conversation about getting help, needing the help, that person went and got help and decided not to take matters regarding continuing life into their own hands. Y'all, when I say it humbled me on so many levels, because in that moment I realized this is not about me. What I'm doing is bigger than me. Literally, someone's life was dependent on my obedience. Someone's future was based on my being obedient and showing up that day and not taking the episode down. And so when she told me that and we had that conversation, it shifted the trajectory of how and why I show up as a podcaster, how and why I show up in the digital space, because it ain't bad English. I'm sorry. It ain't about me, right? So I'm saying that to say to you, whether you're watching this on the live stream now, you're catching the replay later, I don't care what industry that you're in. If you're in, I don't know, government contracting, if you're an attorney, if you're a consultant, if you're a public speaker, if you're a motivational speaker, if you're an author, if you cut grass, whatever, you don't know how your presence is changing and shifting the atmosphere within your industry. Because at the end of the day, our assignment is to be a light everywhere we go. Our job is to be the thermostat and not a thermometer. Because why a thermometer only reports the surroundings. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's cold. We know that. But a thermostat changes atmospheres and makes it comfortable for everybody. Sometimes you can disrupt the space, but your job is to shift the atmosphere. And that's what a thermostat does. So, out of that, I just backtracking on the conversation, recapping some things, ask yourself, do I know my purpose and my assignment? Do you know why you're supposed to be in the space? Do you know your functionality in that space? And number 2, you need to make the decision if you don't know and differentiate, are you a thermometer or are you a thermostat? Because why when you show up, a life can be saved. So if you got something from this conversation, please let me know in the comments below. Tag some people that you care about. Share this on your social media platforms. You can oh, thank you, Megan. That's right, girl. Show up. Let me know what you all thought about this. You can go to my website at CamilleAsic.com. That way, when you subscribe, you save 30% at the checkout. The sale is store-wide on all my digital products, my ebooks, my stock elements, the master plan, everything 30% off until midnight tonight. Use the code MADE30 to save. Once the sale is over, that's it. So don't inbox me later. Hey sis, hey friend, because I'm gonna tell you it's done. Now it is till midnight. And the reason why I did that is because for my West Coasters, my West Coast people, to be equitable, to be fair, I extended it that way. It doesn't end at 9 East Coast time, but it goes to midnight, which would be 9 p.m. Pacific time. So with that being said, yes, there will be more of these creative connects. I'm gonna planning to do more of these just because one, I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to be on live more. I'm learning from other people. I'm a wealth of information. This is another side point. I guess this will be like a takeaway or a nugget. I know I always ask my guests, like, what are nuggets or takeaways, from this conversation? And one of the things I guess I would say is don't underestimate yourself. You are a wealth of information. You do have a lot to offer in this community. You do have a lot to offer in this world. So show up. So with that being said, I hope that you all enjoyed tonight's Creative Connect. It was airing tonight live on Facebook and YouTube. This was a great live session, live learning session with you all. And I really appreciate y'all tapping in. And be sure to catch this coupon code and save now by hitting the code MADE30. That way you can save at the checkout. That is store wide. You do want to grab that. The next Creative Connect, I will announce when that will come about. So that's why you need to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me. I am streaming across all various platforms such as iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Pandora. And I would love to hear from you. I keep it simple. It's just CamilleEssick.com across those platforms. And you can also email me at camille.c.essick. And I hope that you all enjoyed tonight's Creative Connect. Thank you, Megan. I appreciate you for that. And with that being said, y'all, even though this is not a speaker podcast episode, I will close as I do with all podcasts. This is Camille Essick, and I am host of the Speaker Podcast. And this is the podcast where innovators and critics connect. And I'll see you on the next one. Be safe. Happy weekend. This is the last weekend in May. So enjoy it. I think it's supposed to be beautiful outside. But y'all, good night. See you in the next one. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Speak Her Podcast. Be sure to follow Camille on Instagram at Camille.Essick, Facebook at the Speak Her Podcast,